Microsoft Word 2003, Formatting Text, Part 2. We took a look at how we did basic font formatting. We took a look at even just a little bit about styles. But in this video, it's time to kick it up a notch, kind of like how Emerald says. We're going to kick it up a notch, add a little bit more spice to our formatting. In this video, we're going to build upon what we just saw and add a few different things. Like, number one, talk a little bit more about the styles that we saw in the previous video, as well as talk about additional font formatting and how we can change our character spacing and add effects that will appear on the screen that are kind of cool. So far we have taken a look at formatting of text and some fun stuff like that. Let me open up my instrument information sheet again. I've come back to the beginning here. I lost all the formatting that we did in our previous video, but one thing that you're going to find out is that you are going to be utilizing certain types of formatting, a collection of them, a certain font, a certain size, a certain whatever, and you're going to use it a lot. And that is where styles come in, because really, in Word 2003, a style is just a collection of character or, and this is great, paragraph formatting. Now, we're going to focus mostly on the text and character formatting in this video. Later on, when we do a paragraph formatting video, we'll see how we can do styles for paragraphs. But just understand, these are the two varieties you have. Character styles format any selected text that you can have. You can do that to a letter, a word, the paragraph, or the entire document. Paragraph styles, as you'll see, that deals with things like indents, alignment, paragraph line spacing, things like that. Now, text styles are going to be stored in templates, and by default, Word uses the normal template for all new documents and the normal style. Now, here's the normal style. Now, you might think, well, wait a minute, is that the normal template or is that the normal style? It's the normal style. What I mean by normal template is, if you select down, you'll see that the template that you have for this includes clear formatting, heading, normal, and title. If you want more, when you select on more, it brings up the Styles and Formatting task pane, and here you can find different types of styles. You can create new styles based upon text that you've done. We'll see how that. And notice right here it says Show Available Formatting. If I want to get a new template, all I need to do is I can find out all available styles, custom, whatever I need to do, and apply that particular template to it. So let me go ahead and close that. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves there. So for example, you can take different styles and take it from the drop-down list and apply it to anything on the text. For example, if I want to take Many People Turn to Acme Instruments Inc., and I want to change that to a heading 3, I just merely select it, and now it is in a heading 3 type of a style. So let me go ahead and undo that so we can see that. And that's fairly simple and straightforward. That's how you apply these text styles. Now, similar to the ability for us to go in and replace certain types of formats and formatting, you can go in and do styles on all the text that's the same. Like, for example, all of this is normal. Now, to get to the style and formatting task pane, you can either come up here to Format, Styles and Formatting, or look over here, right here on the Format toolbar. You can see that it says Styles and Formatting. So let me click down here in my normal area, click Styles and Formatting. It says the selected text, basically where my cursor is right now, is in the normal. Well, we all hope that we're normal a little bit. I can then select all of the text that is in there. I can also down click here and say I've got 39 instances. I can do new style, I can modify, or I can reveal the formatting. We saw that a little bit earlier on in one of the other videos. In this case, though, I just want to select all of the normal font. So when I do that, notice I now have all of these selected, all of my different type of instruments, and I want to change the style that I'm using. I want it all to be like heading 3. Or maybe I want it to all be a title. Or if there's another style that I want, I can come down here to Show All Styles or Available Styles, Formatting and Use. Let's go ahead and do all styles. Now look at this. Every single style that we have for Word 2003, all available at my fingertips now. So that can be a little crazy. So we can scroll down here, and it's just similar to what we saw earlier on when we did the earlier example of the video. So let me come down here, and let's say we want to do ahead and change it all to a strong default paragraph font. So let's go ahead and do that. So now, once I select on that over here to apply that formatting, if I deselect it, it's gone ahead and applied that formatting to everything that we have here. Now, of course, I don't have to use this aspect of it right here. If I select here, and let's say I want to change this to a list, all the way down, I select the whole thing, and I want to change this to a list, all I need to do is select now, because I'm now revealing all the different types of styles that I have available for Office 2003. I can come up here and I say, I want a list bullet. So I'm going to do a list bullet, only it's indented just a little bit. I select on it, and look at that. It creates that different type. So for every carriage return that I had from Clarinet, boom, 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 and then it brought it down here to a list. And it shows you bullets, and you can change the format, and that's the important thing. By utilizing styles, you can do all that. So let's go ahead and undo that style, undo the two different styles that we did, bring it back to normal that we have here, and take a look at some of the other formats that we're doing. Before, if you remember, we said that we just use your standard formats for fonts, for font size, bolding, italics, underline, and some of the other paragraph formatting, even font color. But to really see the power of your formatting, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use the drop-down menu here from the format, because that's going to give you a lot more options. So we come up here to Format, Font, because again, what we're doing now is we are dealing with all the different types of character formatting that we can do. So this is a little bit more of the advanced stuff that we have. Notice we don't just have regular italics, bold italics, all these. We can also do certain effects. Now these are different than the text effects, which we'll look at a little bit later on. But what we can do here is we can change the font of any of the selected text that we have, or where we can start typing. Let me go ahead and cancel out, and let's select some text. Let's go ahead and say we want to take care of this paragraph and change all the text that we have here. I come up again to Format, I come to Font, and I want to change this to Arial, my favorite font. So I go to Arial. The preview window down here will show you what the font looks like on the screen. Now with TrueType fonts, and this is a little bit outside of what this video series is about to be, but hey, I think you might want to know. What is a TrueType font? A TrueType font means what you see on the computer screen is also what will print out. That's a TrueType font. So when you see TrueType fonts, you know that when it looks like this on the computer screen or on the preview here, that's what it's going to look like on the page, just so you know. Now I can do all kinds of different effects here. I can do font color, the automatic, if I want. I can change it to maybe violet. It shows you what it's going to look like. That's the neat thing about using this preview. It shows you exactly what's going to go on. We have other options. I can italicize it. I can bold italicize it. Or I can use some of these effects like strike through, where it puts one particular line right through. Or I can do double strike through, where there's two lines through it. You can do superscript. Let me take that off. So it bumps it up on top of the screen. Or I can do subscript, which brings it down, kind of like when you use the small little numbers on the side. We can also take that off. We can shadow it. And so you can see, if you look real carefully here, you can see a drop shadow back behind the text. That kind of causes the text to pop out just a little bit. A very cool feature. There's outline, where you literally take it and it looks like you carved out the outline of the particular text that you have. You can do embossing, which literally, just like I said, it looks like you embossed it. You can do engraving. Engraving looks like you carved it into the paper. Pretty sweet. You can also do small caps. That way, even though that you have the big capitals at the beginning of the sentence, but then any other, it's all small caps. Or you can do all caps. It looks like you're shouting, like you're doing in an email. And then you have the hidden, where if you do the hidden, remember, what that means is you won't be able to see this text on the paragraph. We saw how we can hide and unhide the text a little in one of the earlier videos. Well, we don't want it hidden, but I do like shadowed. And let's see what else we want to do. The underline style. Do you want to underline the words only? That's kind of cool. So now it's many people turn to Acme Instruments. That's kind of sweet. Or you can do it with a double line. You can do it with dots, stars, wavy lines like this. So you have all these capabilities, and the underline color can change. So if I wanted to just do a single underline, and I want the underline color to be blue, Now I have a different color text. I have a different color, different line color. So again, you know, you've heard me say it several times, Word gives you a lot of options on how you want to do your font and how you want to set that up. So let's go ahead and say we'll leave that on and we'll click OK. I deselect off and sure enough, there's my shadowed violet Arial font with a blue, sky blue underline, and all I did was select it, and then I used some of the advanced features there with my fonts in order for me to change the look and feel of my characters. We have other things that we can do here. Don't just think that we can do the colors and the fonts. So again, if I select this, I come up to my format and click font. Let's take a look at some of the other things we can do. Character spacing. Now, one of the ways that you can really make your text kind of look a little bit better is by utilizing the character spacing. And it's pretty dramatic. So what you're doing is you're telling Word to put more space between the characters or to take the space out. You might use this for headings. Sometimes you might want to add a line or lose a line from paragraph. Maybe you definitely want to get everything onto one page. And so if you just tighten up the character spacing a little bit, you'll squeeze everything on there. That's one way that we can do that. We can use kerning for fonts, and kerning, of course, is how you want to, move the kerning for that. That's one way to do it. But look at the scale. Right now, we're at 100%. If I want to, I can come down to 90%, and it takes the character spacing down 90%. Or I can increase it to 150%. And notice it changes the font to expand so that the character spacing scales correctly. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and go back to 100%. Now the spacing that can be done, you can say I want it expanded by how many points? 1 point, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. You can keep going right here and see the demonstration on how it moves it out. So we'll say from the 1. Where's the position? Do you want it raised or do you want it lowered? If I say raise, it will raise it up a little bit by 3 points. It's a way of bumping up the text just a little bit. Or I can lower it and it'll drop it down just a little bit. Or let's go back to normal. And normal spacing. So you can see by using character spacing, we can increase the amount of text we put on a page, or what we could do is maybe expand it to make it look a little bit bigger, easier for certain people to read. If you're, for example, maybe your instrument company makes instruments for senior citizens who, sometimes their eyesight isn't as good. So maybe you want to expand the character spacing a little bit and make it look a little bit tighter. You can do that right here on this page. Now, one other effect, and I love this one, and that is text effects. Let's go ahead and select on this one. Now, understand a couple things. Text effects are only things that will be seen on your Microsoft Word document. Text effects are not going to show up. Obviously, your printed page can't do Las Vegas lights or a blinking background where it blinks at you. Marching black ants where it's going dun, 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 dun. Okay, you can't do that. Or I want red ants, because out here in the Phoenix area, we definitely have plenty of red ants. It won't show up, obviously, on a printed page. However, anyone who opens up this document with the appropriate office and that supports this will be able to see this. This is really good at making things kind of snap out so you can really enhance the appearance. And they're all animated text. So maybe there's an important number in a report that you want to highlight. Well, you can do that as well. You can do sparkle text where it kind of sparkles it. You can do shimmer where, talk about number 1, giving you a headache, but number 2, attracting your attention to something, and then of course you could take it off. So let's go ahead and let's say we want to do sparkle text on here. We click OK, and now notice the sparkle text is all over that. Of course, it's kind of hard to read what's going on here, so we can of course do an undo, and that way it'll take it back here. But let's say that we wanted to highlight clarinet and we wanted to use some certain type of format. We can come up again to fonts. We can say we want the blinking background or the Las Vegas lights here on the clarinet. We click OK, and now the clarinet has the blinking Las Vegas lights. And we know what happens in Word stays in Word. So in this video, we saw some of the other advanced features, things like applying our styles. We actually got just a little bit more information about that. We also took a look at additional font formatting, how we can add superscript, shadow, embossing, things like that. And then spacing and effects. Yes, I know, it sounds like we're spacing out or adding special laser effects, but we're not. What we're doing is we're maybe changing our character spacing to expand or compress our text on the screen, as well as effects, things that make that text pop out on our reports, add flashing lights or crawling lines or maybe little sparkles just to grab people's attention. And again, remember, this is something that's only going to occur on your Word documents. These text effects do not import, or I should say export, out to other applications. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.